Eagles-Ravens, it is we mentioned before, it's a 3-point line. So essentially the odds makers are telling you this is a coin flip game. And the Ravens, who have 4 losses, they're at home. They've been somewhat inconsistent. They lost that game to the Raiders earlier this season. But I think everybody acknowledges Lamar is an MVP type player. Derrick Henry has been a great addition for the Ravens. Their defense isn't as good as maybe they normally are, but a very, very good team, certainly an above-average team. And then you get the Eagles. And it's also weird. You get the Eagles coming from Los Angeles. They played Sunday night. You get the Ravens coming from Los Angeles. They played on Monday night. So short week for Baltimore, as they didn't get home on Tuesday until probably 6 o'clock in the morning. But like these are 2 good teams. I believe the Eagles are the better team. But it's a matter of, in the NFL, is it like it's week to week? So sometimes you got to ask yourself when you're trying to handicap games, just say, okay, well, like who needs this one more? And the Eagles need it from the perspective of they need to keep pace with the Lions because the Lions have 1 loss, and if the Eagles lose, they would have 3 losses. Now they're 2 games behind. But to me, this game's much more important for the Ravens because if this is a loss for Baltimore, they fall to 7-5. And not that you're saying they're not going to make the playoffs, but like 5 losses, that's a lot through 12 games. So again, I think this is an evenly matched game. This is a game where I'd said with the tease why I feel great about the Birds rolling into week 13. Tyler and I, before the show, were kind of going over the games that we picked or the games we're looking at. It really, we're just talking about the schedule of the games coming up here for the week. And it's like, all right, well, like, the Bucks. The Bucks may be a playoff team. One week you watch them, you're like, the Bucks are pretty good. Then you watch them the following week, you're like, yeah, the Bucks aren't all that good. And you do that with so many teams in the NFL right now. But here's 2 teams I don't do that with. It's the Eagles and the Lions. The Eagles are a very good team. The Lions yesterday are a very, very good team. And I don't think there's anything fluky about anything they're doing right now. And the Eagles are probably going to lose a game or 2 before the end of the season. But they've arrived. They're back and they're real. And there's not going to be a collapse like there was last year. Outside of Saquon Barkley getting injured or there being some type of major move by defensive coordinators to where the Eagles don't have a response to it, I just don't see that happening. They are so good on defense, so much better on defense. Their offense is rolling. Everything runs through Saquon Barkley. This team is for real. The Lions, same way. They're for real. Although I don't necessarily know about their defense. I like the Eagles' defense better. And when I watch the Ravens play, I don't feel the same way about the Ravens as I do the Eagles. The Ravens are a little bit too inconsistent. And as great as Lamar plays, and as much as we wanted to make him, or not me, but others wanted to make him the MVP again this year, like, no. I don't think he's the MVP, and I don't think the Ravens are on that top tier of their conference like the Eagles are. But with all that said, I still think this is a game that the Ravens find a way to win. So I'll take the Eagles +3. And again, this is just a coin flip, and I'm going with the idea that the Ravens are at home and they need this game. The urgency for them to win this game is that. And when you look at last week's game, yeah, they beat the Chargers, but man, Chargers kind of gave them that game. Chargers didn't want to win that game. Quentin Johnson had a number of bad drops. I mean, that was a close game that they easily could have lost. I didn't think they played particularly well in that game. The Eagles played great against the Rams. They beat the hell out of the Rams. Outside of those first 2 drives, or that first drive by Los Angeles, the Eagles defense shut them down. So reading your press clippings, Saquon Barkley, 255 rushing yards. The Eagles are the toast of the NFL. Everybody's talking about them. And the Ravens need this game bad. So I'm going to take the Ravens 23-20. 23-21 in a very close game. I'll take the Eagles +3, but this is a coin flip game.